All right, so this question is asking us to determine which table of values represents the same relationship as the rule y equals 3 times the quantity x plus 2. Well, there's a few different ways that you can solve this kind of problem, but I guess the easiest one would just be to simply trial and error, figure out which one of these tables' values when plugged into this rule or this equation is true. So we're going to start with table A's values, and we're going to plug these values in, the x values for the x's, the y values for the y, and see if each of these is true, and if all three of them are true, then table A would be our answer. If not, we move on to one of the other tables. So let's go ahead and start testing it out. Our equation is y equals 3 times the quantity x plus 2. When I substitute a negative 3 in for x and a negative 3 in for y, that's a negative 3 plus 2 times 3. That's supposed to equal negative 3. Let's see if it does. Negative 3 times, or negative 3 plus 2 is a negative 1 times 3. And indeed, negative 3 does equal negative 3. So that first one checks out. All right, let's plug the 0 and the 6 in. So we have 3 times 0 plus 2. Does that equal 6? Well, 0 plus 2 is 2. Still times the 3. And of course, 3 times 2 does equal 6. So 6 does equal 6. That one checks out as well. The last pair to check, the 5 and the 21. So we're going to plug 5 in for the x and 21 in for the y. And when we do our order of operations, 5 plus 2 is 7. Still times the 3. It's a parenthesis right there. And 3 times 7 does indeed equal 21. So this set of ordered pairs checks as well. So every single one of these answers works. Now, of course, we could check all of these other ones, and what we discover is that at least one of them will have an ordered pair or an x comma y value that when plugged in here does not work. The key is to find which table has ordered pairs where all three of the ordered pairs work. So that's the key to this. So thankfully, for sake of all the work we had to do, we found our answer immediately, and the answer is A. And the key to doing these kinds of problems when you're plugging in your information, for example, when I plugged in the negative 3 for the x and the negative 3 in for y, I had to make sure I'm following my order of operations. And remember, order of operations says to do parentheses first, which gave me my negative 1. Then it says to do exponents, which we didn't have any. Then any multiplication or division, and we have immediately multiplication here, which gives me a negative 3, which indeed equals the negative 3. And I did follow my order of operations on these as well to discover that indeed these values of x, when plugged in, equal these values of y. All right, I hope this helps. And you get to